Howdy, howdy, one and all. Sigh. If you were with me in previous episodes, the last couple of days, last, this is supposed to be something easy, and it is proving to be way more not easy than I expected. And it's partly because there are some really bad stats on some players, and I can't like exclude them completely. They need to be in the system because I can't like filter out everybody with really bad stats. But the issue I'm having is yards per rush on a lot of players is like a couple, one, two, negative, a lot of negatives. And a lot of these guys only went like one or two, they played like one or two games and they only had a couple of um, attempts. And it's just the numbers are so tiny. And the way I scale things out, it's really meant to balance players against one-offs. Okay, so I scale everybody. So if a guy has a one game 200-yard rushing performance and only ran for one game, that would normally get scaled down to where his average would be somewhere in the, smaller amounts, probably in the 5, 3, 2, 1 yards per average, whatever. But it's the idea is that they would have it'd be more balanced because we can't have just like some guy come in, wreak havoc on another team, and then not play again for the rest of the season. Maybe he gets hurt or something, and his average just isn't balanced to the rest of the game. Whereas somebody who plays for the whole 16 games and has a similar average would get more credit because he actually did it against multiple opponents, and as a result, actually had better overall results. So, and on many of these, it's kind of, sort of, in a way fixed, or I've got it kind of working, kind of in a sort of in a way kind of working. If I can be a little more non-committal to my belief in that it's improved. Um, it's a not great situation right now. Okay, so you see here, all these guys at 1484 are supposed to be done, which means I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Now I had like 12. I fixed a lot of them, but they're not all fixed. See, I have break tackle here, and I've noticed that break tackle is one of a couple that are doing this. Because of these people who are really bad and have really low yards per rush, they go through this thing with yards per rush. They have some runs, they have some yards, but it's negative or just really tiny or whatever. And then I have this function that adjusts the per rush. And that is causing me consternation. It adjusts it for validity of the average, but it divides it down, so it takes a fraction of it and says, okay, well, this is what you got, but you really only get this much because you didn't have enough to go with it, so we shrink it. Well, there's a number of players that are getting like fractional values, and so my thought was, I may not allow a yards per rush to go in that is yeah, I don't think I'm going to let a yards per rush go through. I'm just going to say it's 1. I think anybody who's got a base adjusted yards per rush that's less than 0. I think as I'm worried about, oh no, I guess anybody who goes less than 0, they're going to get a 1. Everybody gets at least a 1. It's going to be a lot of people though, which is kind of annoying. And I was hoping I can get a better spread take all those people with their slightly bad numbers and get a spread. So what I thought, the other option is, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this. It couldn't hurt to try. I'm going to try this. If adjusted yards per rush is less than or equal to 0.0. 0.0, no. Less than or equal to 1.0. Because there's a lot of people who have a less than 1.0 value. I am going to do a special scaling. Which is going to be this guy. Special. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do even... I think I'm going to go... I'm going to do absolute value. Math dot... Which means I can get negative. If somebody's consistently getting negatives, they could still get a negative if my let's see if this works. All right, so we got this. We're going to go, instead of putting these in, I'm going to say -1. One. And I'm going to scale it on 1 to 2. No, 1 to... Let's see if I can spread these guys out at all. Let's go 1 to 3. This might not work because there's still some... there's like some microscopic numbers. That's the problem. Literally, like super microscopic numbers, and therefore there's no spread. Numbers that I got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, and 3, and they're like super tiny. And I don't know how to get those numbers up to a point where they're within a reasonable range of my player, of a zone of players. So I don't know how well this is going to work. And then I'm going to take this one, and we'll say 4 to 10. And then this is the else. So the idea is here that if I have anything in this little weird spot, I'm going to scale them in this 1 to 3 zone. I'm just trying to get them off that stupid 0. Okay, so yeah, I had to reply to a kind of important text. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go see if this. Let's go see if I can get. I just want to print this. It's just. I want to see if I can get anybody who's got a lousy number to get a number that's not a lousy number. That's what I'm trying for. Not lousy numbers. So in theory, my objective would be that nobody has the same value. I mean, to some extent, everybody's a little bit different, but I'm finding that may not be possible. It's just the way it goes. And it's proving to be an annoying issue. This will tell me if I'm at least getting people. So all these values that are coming in, they're all getting zeros. How do they get scaled to 0? Oh, or for wow. No, I guess that's not. They're not actually getting zeros. I shouldn't be using that scale too, because that number is not being set. But I do have some. It looks like my numbers are positive. I wonder if I should do a round. Adjusted, is it showing adjusted yards per rush 0.1275, 145. It's supposed to be if it's less than 1 dot. Oh, some of these are going into the other one. Yeah, I should probably fix this comment. That is not true. Plus, this will let me see. Got a lot of these adjusted yards per rush that are wonky. I'm still getting a lot of. It shouldn't be all zeros like that. I don't know why they're all zeros. Because some of these shouldn't be, they should be falling into this one, which isn't a 0. Somehow I'm getting zeros. I still don't understand how I'm getting zeros like that. It's not supposed to be possible. So confused. go ahead and try this one more time, except this time we'll take the abs off. Just this will put the negatives in, but whatever. Include negatives. Negative, I don't know, 10? Problem is, this is going to create there's going to be a lot of guys that falls into this. All I could figure is the only other option is just to change adjusted yards per rush. If they're below 0, then whatever. Got a lot of guys getting 2 point whatever. And the upside is no zeros. Not very many zeros. A lot of guys getting just... A lot of people getting 2s, not a lot of people getting 1s. And I'm also not getting any people falling into the bottom one there. Adjusted. Oh, probably because... Nope, I don't know. So how is Aaron Rodgers with his 5.4 scaled to 3? How do I have these people getting scaled down? Adjusted yards per... Am I getting a lot of people who are just... they must be getting adjusted... Oh, God, what is the problem here? Adjusted yards per rush. Player name. Adjusted yards per rush. Base. Their base is... Oh, that's like pre-scaled. But I have Aaron Rodgers here has a... Or Khalil Bell has a yards per rush of 4.8125. He's scaled to 3. A lot of people scale to 3. And that's because those numbers... Oh, man. It doesn't make sense. How do we get to 3? I'm just stumped by this. Oh, God. Scale to 3. So 5 is scaled to 3. 1 is scaled to 3. It's like everybody went through that first part. How is everybody underneath 3? Doesn't even make sense. Oh. I think I put the wrong value here. That's the problem. Start round. And go. Is there a round function that round? A specific decimal place. Why do they say that? Oh. It's not really, you're just multiplying the number and taking the integer, and then you're pushing the decimal back. It's all it's just, it's a kind of a kludge. It moves the decimal over, cuts off all the rest, and then puts the decimal back in its place. I guess it works. It's not really a function that just does it. I always like how you say, is there a function in Go? And it goes, no, or yes, here. And it's like, it's not a function. It's a, you write this function. I was like, I get it. There's functions you can write, but where's all of the cool little, I used to I coded in VB for a long time, VB.net. This is way back when VB was a big thing. And I actually created a DLL with like 50 functions in it that I used all the time. And then I would just install it into whatever I was working in. But sometimes they didn't like you have external DLL, so I would go into my DLL and pull all the functions out and put them into like a utility class or something. But alas, I don't have that anymore. But you can see that for all this is, I still have all of my functions still getting scaled down to like 2.8, 2.9. At least they're not all getting stuck at 3. I guess that's something. 2.9, 2.8, 2.9. 2.78, 2.8. Which I guess is something. It's, I would think. It's, let's go see. See what numbers I got now. Still 2.9 and 0.9, so there's still a problem. Because if it wasn't a problem, if there wasn't still a problem, I would have, this guy would be showing me stuff. I'd have values in there from above 3, because this is supposed to be going 4 to 10. Which means, for some bizarre reason, nobody's got an adjusted yards per rush that's above 1. And that can't be right. It's like, how are we getting that? Well, I can't do this. Math that round. That's not a thing. I mean, kind of is. I'd have to go create a function that would round it. I could just truncate it, but then that would look terrible. Math.pow. Guess I could do that. Let's do something weird like that. This looks pretty simple. I will say power 10. Okay, sure. Round places equals, go with 2. Sure, we'll go with 2. And then we're going to say wait, is decimal.round a function? See, why aren't you offering me that one? Because I'm seeing this thing called decimal.round. Is that a thing? I'm going to try. I'm going to see if that's a thing. If that's a thing, that's better. I didn't know that was a thing. Decimal dot round, comma 2. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I don't know why it offered that. It offered it like it was a real thing, but huh. Wait, I have. I may have created one and not been paying attention. Let's go. No, I'm gonna go 2. I actually had a round function that I created that I could round to the half point. In fact, I think I used it in my spreadsheet here. It allowed me to round to like I could round to like 0.5. It's like anything. So anything if I wanted to go to a half, or so in other words, I can go to the nearest half. And or even if I wanted to do whatever I want, I could have done it like to the nearest half or the nearest 3/4 or whatever I wanted to. I was able to tell it how far I wanted to round to. I don't know. I actually used it for something. I had a purpose for it. It was actually kind of cool. But all right, let's go back to the terminal. Now I'm going to drop the player pool too, just because. I don't honestly at this point. I don't know what I'm trying to solve for. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I'm really tempted. I'm getting to that point where I'm ready to say screw it. I'm just rounding. I'm just going to go ahead and put, what do you call it? Everybody who's below 1 to 1, and everybody else gets to be rounded 1 to something else. So if you're below 1, you're 1. If you're everyone else gets. I don't know. I just feel like it might not be worth all the effort I'm putting into it. And so some of these are saying they're adjusting. Oh, that's just the minimum that's getting adjusted, not the max. Somebody's dropping below. Everybody's at 2 point something. Nobody's actually getting a 1 or a less than a 1. Oh, I don't know. I have 1 to 3. But I would have thought I have a couple that drop down into the, they'd be 1 points. Well, that was negative 0.4, negative 0.44. Everybody's getting a 2 point something. Which strikes me that somebody I only got exact numbers. 2.8, 2.9. I don't know.